Hey guys, a couple weeks ago we presented you guys with the quarantine cook-off challenge, and what that is basically we challenged you guys to take your favorite quarantine go-to meal and make a cooking show out of it. Make a 3 to 5 minute little short video and just teach people in a creative way to make your favorite dish. Now the winner of the challenge gets to be the owner of the Face the Case contract, which entitles you to challenge the title belt holder to a match at any youth event, whether that's a Zoom call, cyber church, even Wednesday night Bible study, Minecraft Mondays. A couple weeks ago, Connor used the Face the Case and lost to our current title belt holder, which is Lainey, and so that gave her an extra win. And I believe, Connor, this is your second time losing using the Face the Case, So today I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what we do here under the quarantine. You may have seen some of my pictures going out on Facebook, and I don't think we've posted any on Instagram, but of some of the creative things that I've been trying to cook, such as the foamy omelet thing, which I don't recommend. So I'm not going to teach you to make that tonight, but I am going to teach you my go-to quarantine meal. So let's get started. Today, I'm going to show you one of my go-to recipes, and that's simply ramen. I grew up eating top ramen all the time. It was one of the things we did as kids. We're not just going to do normal ramen, like put the water in and just boil it, simple. We're going to elevate it a little bit and take it to another level. We're going to go with the classic Shin ramen, which is a spicy ramen. First time I ever had this, I don't know, I was sitting there in my college dorm room, a bunch of us were eating it, and I was just pouring buckets. This stuff can get spicy. So this is what we're gonna go with today, and we are gonna elevate it, like I said, a little bit higher than what you might normally do. All right, so first things first, you're gonna need to grab your ramen noodles. That's the most important part of this dish. Next thing you're gonna want, we're gonna go with an egg, because eggs are a great source of protein that you can add to it. We're also gonna grab some lunch meat. A lot of us have lunch meat lying around the house. You can go with pretty much anything. I like using roast beef. And then the other thing that we're gonna do with this is we're gonna use what is called watercress. Now this is a green leafy vegetable. You guys can see that. It's kind of spinach, kind of like spinach texture-wise, but it's got a really good peppery flavor. A lot of Asian dishes use it. People like to use it in salads, different things like that. It's a great addition to add just a little bit more texture and something different to that. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to get our water on the boil. I've got this started already, so that it doesn't take too long. While that's getting going, we're going to throw in our seasoning packets and the other little veggies that come with it. There's not a whole lot, which is why we're adding to this, but you get your seasoning packets in there. We're using about 2.5 cups of water here. And then we're just gonna take out our whisk, stir that up just to mix everything around, and then we're gonna get that boiling. So I've also got the noodles in the water pot. They're also boiling, and while that's starting to get going, we're probably gonna let that go for a couple of minutes, but I wanna get the rest of the stuff ready. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get an egg, and we're gonna crack an egg into a little bowl, just a tiny bowl, enough to hold one egg. We're gonna crack that. Try not to break the yolk or get any eggshells in there. I'm not the best at cracking eggs, but we just want to let that get in there. And then we're going to set this aside till closer to the end. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our lunch meat ready, because we don't want to just take an entire giant slab of lunch meat and stick it on there. So as you guys can see here, I've got roast beef, and all I'm going to do is just take this and just slice it up into little chunks. I mean, don't even really need the knife, but I like straight cuts. Grab a couple pieces of that. You're just chopping it up into small strips, maybe an inch wide. We don't need a ton of it because this is just a bowl for one person. Now, if you're making a couple of them, you can do more than this, but this is just a small amount. That's probably good enough. All right, so as you can see, we've got our noodles in here. They're starting to cook up. They've been going for a couple of minutes. They're starting to get to the point where they're just getting soft. They're not quite squishy, but they're not quite to that al dente point, and that's okay. That's kind of where we want this. So once we hit that point, you can kind of see they're cooked, they're separated. If you take one out, taste it, they're a pretty good texture. So at this point, we're gonna turn off the heat. With the heat off, what we're gonna do is we are going to carefully let it stop boiling and just come to a little bit of a simmer. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our egg and we are going to carefully just drop it right on top. So you can see the egg in there has been kind of put in a little bit of a pocket with the way the noodles cradle it. And so we're gonna grab our spoon and just carefully, without actually touching the egg, we're gonna get some of this from the outside. And we just pour that over, kind of help cook the top of the egg, the little bit that's sticking up. And all we're looking to do is mostly cook that, the white part of the egg. We're just gently spooning the hot liquid from the ramen over the top of it. The yolk's gonna get a little bit of cooked, but what we're basically doing right here is poaching this egg. And it's kind of nice this way is because the noodles provide that little bed of stability for it to sit on. All right, so now we've got the ramen noodles off the heat. The egg is in there. The egg is perfectly poached, sitting on that bed of noodles. And so now the next comes the tough job of transferring this without spilling everything over into our bowl for plating. Oh, look at that. Perfect job. We've got our lunch meat over here. Grab a few of the strips of that. Kind of just lay those down, plate them here. Now the great thing about this is if it's lunch meat that you're using, it's pre-cooked. You don't have to worry about it cooking or anything like that. Like I said, this is roast beef. It's already pre-cooked. You can just set it in there. You don't have to worry about it. After you have your meat and your egg in here, we're gonna move over and we're gonna grab the watercress and we're just gonna snip off a few of these. We don't want the stems necessarily, but we just wanna go through, grab a few off the top, and then we're going to set these in here. And this is gonna add, like I said, a little bit more vegetable. It's going to give it a little bit of a peppery taste. You can add as much or as little as you want of that. And then there you go. A perfectly cooked, elevated bowl of ramen. And we're ready to go. I mean, this is the best part of it, right? Is getting to eat it and taste it. So I'm gonna just stir this in a little bit. And the best parts though is you can break that open and just let that yolk run through. All that nice runny yolk. Grab a little bit of noodles and just dip them into there. And that is a perfect. I get a little bit of meat and watercress on there. That is good. That is a perfect quarantine dish. Normal, everyday, spicy ramen noodles, elevated, taken to another level with just some stuff that we have in our home laying around. All right, guys, so there you have it. That's my quarantine cook-off challenge entry. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you got to see a little bit of what I love to cook and what I love to eat. Again, I just want to encourage you guys, have fun with it, get creative, get crazy. I don't care if it's peanut butter and jelly or cheese whiz on a goldfish cracker. Get creative with your entries. And as always, guys, make sure you clean up the kitchen afterwards, just so your mom doesn't have to, because I don't want her mad at me. Now, I'm gonna go in my living room and I'm gonna sit down, watch some Star Wars, and eat the rest of this because it's good. And we will see you guys later. Oh, that's so good. Yeah.